I'm AJ McLaughlin.
I'm Ryan Ruiz.
I'm DJ Rich.
I'm Ruben Cesar Telford.
I'm Clinton Martinez.
And we are the hosts of Opinions and Consequences, the podcast, the show where your opinions can lead to consequences. So, choose your words wisely. Enjoy the show. Yes, you guys already know it. Welcome back, people, man. Welcome back to another episode of Opinions and Consequences off the books. You guys already know who's in the building, man. This is your boy, AJ McLaughlin. Guys, I got a guest in the building, all right? He goes by the name of Bryd. So I want to give a round of applause for Bryd for coming on the show. What's poppin', man? How you doing? Okay. How's everything, man?
It's good, just taking care of the kids, just working full time.
Wait a minute. When you say kids, how many though? Like,
Man.
you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? Hold on.
They make fun of me. They say it's not the Brady bunch, it's the Birdie bunch. But I got 6-piece,
6-piece, no biscuits.
It's ugly, but it's beautiful. You know what I mean?
You know what, man?
They keep me in traffic. That's all I gotta do. That's why I meant by it's ugly.
Damn. So wait, is it kind of hard to kind of pause, everybody? To be on top of all of them and kind of like make sure like you know what I mean? Because there's so many different personalities.
Man,
like
it's beautiful in the personalities when you're watching them. You're like, man, this man, he's not. My 2-year-old is like, yo, he doesn't care what I say. It's like, man, but it's not hard. It's just it's beautiful. It's like a portrait. It's like art. It's just watching pieces of art. It's watching, and it's like as a parent, you just want them to feel love. That's it. That's all you can do for your child. You don't try to direct them too much, but just make sure they feel loved, secure, and you're gonna watch them blossom. But as far as being on top of all their schedules, that's a tough thing. But good thing my wife, she's the general. You know what I mean?
Soldier. We need more soldiers out there.
Yeah.
So like, what do you think is like the hardest part about the whole like parenting? You know what I mean? I'm not a parent, guys. You know what I mean?
Stop being polite and start getting.
You know what? You're right. We're gonna come back to that, guys. We're gonna get right into the show, people.
Okay,
let me ask you this, man. How do we ensure that mentoring doesn't feel like criticism?
Man, that's a beautiful and tough question.
And then you could relate this to anything. Like, you know what I mean? You can relate this to, your kids. You can relate this to, you know.
I'm glad you said that because a lot of coaches don't try to look at the dynamics of it. They go into it with like a focus point of all strategy or all coaching or all, blah, blah, blah. But you have to be like open to teach. You have to be open to guide. You have to be open to get the good and the bad, and some people are closed off to that, but it's like you're not just being a true mentor when you're just focused on one thing, because these athletes have problems, daily, and they need to be voiced, they need to be heard, and that's probably the biggest thing for them,
And I'm sorry to cut you off really quick. So just for the viewers out there, Bryd is actually a football coach. So just in case, like, because he said coaching and all that stuff. And I know I dropped the ball on that. And I did not introduce that. I did not let you guys know. But he's a football coach. Sir, go ahead.
Yeah. So how do you ask the question, how do you get to mentoring and not feel like criticism?
Correct. What's your approach on it?
My approach is I like to teach the kids to live in the game. You don't want to always be pointing fingers at them. You teach them a standard,
okay,
and then you let them go from this is the standard. If you want to be good, this is the standard. If you want to be great, this is the standard. You know what I mean? So living in the game, it's like you got your nutrition right. You got your sleep regimen right. You got your discipline on and off the field right. You got your training right, and then you got your practice habits right. So all those things mesh together. That's what I call living in the game. That's what I give the kids. It's like a gospel. You know what I mean? If you want to be a good player, you follow this gospel, you're gonna be good.
I love that. And you know what? And to piggyback off what he's saying, my whole thing is just like when you're working with a partner and all this extra stuff, I feel that, or relationship, friends and all that stuff, I feel like to avoid that criticism, I come at it with an approach like, let's do this together. Let's do this. Let's do this as a team because I feel like a lot of times
powerful.
people feel some type of way when it's like you're pointing a finger like, yo, you do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that, you should do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna give you some criticism, but I'm gonna help you with this, and like, let's do it together. Yeah. And I personally feel like it's more impactful where it doesn't. You don't get that pushback.
I'm dapping you up right here because you don't know this, but I'm 40 years old, so I like to practice what I preach.
40 years young.
Exactly. So I stay in shape because I want to do it with them.
Okay.
I don't want to just be yelling and barking orders.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's not really coaching. You know what I mean?
It's not.
I want to show you. I'm gonna demo it for you, and then instruct you what you did wrong, and therefore,
and keep on going from there.
Keep going.
Man, see, I love that, man. I love that, man. Let me ask you this. How should we communicate when one of us feels overwhelmed by advice or mentoring? So in other words, like if I'm one of your student athletes and yo, come on, get up on this, yo, get up, yo, come on, focus on the play, focus on the ball, all this stuff. How do you?
That's another beautiful question because a lot of work is not done on the field. It's done off the field. So with that being said, these are young men. They're all different. Just like my children, they're all different. They have different demeanors, different characters, different things they live by, different codes, different morals. So, and they have to express themselves. This is what you're seeing on the field is oftentimes their expression of everything they have going on. So when I come to a situation where it's just like a little bit combative, I don't really, instruct them right there. I'll make them, tap in with them.
Correct.
Then we're gonna talk off the field.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like a big brother. Like, what's going on? Like, let me know where your mind's at.
Okay.
So if you're trying to teach and guide and pinpoint everything, and you don't know where their mind's at, you can never really see why they're not hitting a home run. See what I'm saying? Then you're always wondering, why won't you do this, Billy? Why won't you do this? No, you need to see where his mind's at.
Correct.
But if you never tap in with them off the field, you're not gonna know that, and that requires a lot of work. If you got a lot of athletes, I coach the running backs, I coach the DBs. There's a lot of people.
So in other words, what he's saying, he only coaches skilled positions. Like, I like that. I resonate with that. Because it's right. Just like what you said, it's about understanding how that person feels, understanding how that person is doing, what their mindset is like, because that's gonna be the driving factor in terms of, is that person gonna respond the way that you actually want that person to respond? Because obviously, like, yo, listen, you're a coach, and I'm relating all this to obviously being on the field, people. But if you're a coach, like, in order for somebody to understand that and be able to resonate with you, you have to connect with that person. And if that person got no type of connection where he's like, yo, man, whatever, F coach. I ain't messing with coach. Coach want me to do this and blah, 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 blah. And what they used to tell us, like, yo, if the coach don't say nothing to you, that's when you should be worried. Because it's just like, yo, the coach is like, yo, coach is always gonna be on you. Especially like if you're a good athlete, if you are promising, they're always gonna communicate that to you. But it might not be in a way that you're used to. And some people do get overwhelmed by that.
That is true. It's funny because we already talked about parenting, and a lot of coaching is the same thing.
Okay.
And I remember as a coach, you always have to want to increase your skills. You can't just rely on how you coached last year. No, you got to get better. You got to study. You got to go trainings. You got to get certified. But, even as a parent, you have to do these things too, because you're walking into a field industry that you don't know anything about. So you better read a book. You better listen to a podcast. You better do something. So I read a book a long time ago, and it talked about talking to the front of their brain. So when you're yelling, you're talking to the back of the brain. Like, literally, their consciousness goes back here, and they're not hearing nothing. All they're seeing is your actions and this and that, and you're not going to get to the point. So instead of yelling, it's like, use a calm, cool, collected voice and talk to them. Like, why didn't you hit your block? Tell me what you were thinking. But if you're like, Jimmy, you missed your block, they're going to stutter, panic. They're probably already used to those behaviors at home, and they don't need it on the field too.
No,
it's
you're
just
correct.
counterproductive,
Every action is the cause of reaction. Like, you know what I
Right,
mean?
that's
So it's
right.
one of those things like you said, like, you know, there's different approaches where a lot of people, guys, like all the viewers out there, listeners out there, like there's different approaches where you could have this conversation with your counterpart, your loved one, your boss, your employee, whatever the case is. Like, you know what I mean? You could, this information that we're giving you, you can translate it to whatever's going on in your life. You know what I mean? This doesn't just, it's not about just coaching athletes or, you know, parents and all that stuff. This is about just life in general. You know what I mean? And that's one of those things where I feel like a lot of times too is just like perfect example. Like we're communicating this right now, just because we mention athletes, they're like, oh, this is just for athletes.
Oh no, definitely.
And you know what I mean?
And it works in the workplace. It works at the office. You know, understanding who you're working with, being slow to speak and quick to listen. You know what I mean? Being humble, being disciplined, just to see where they're coming from. Because a lot of times you might not agree, even at the workplace, with somebody's idea, but instead of shooting it down, why don't you just question, why do you think that'll work? So then you can, instead of having a combative at work, now you can figure out why they said that, and then you can try it, and if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
And that's what it is.
But oftentimes we just want to friction against friction. It really doesn't work, you know?
And no, we always want to, I feel like we're so, I feel like there's more alphas than just people just wanting to understand. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, yo, just let me understand where you're coming from. Exactly. Let me understand where you're coming from. And I'm gonna give you that chance. Like, yo, let me understand. I'm not gonna shoot you down. I'm not gonna shoot down anything you have to say. I just need to understand.
And the problem sometimes could be just because you've done it 6 million times, and this person is saying another way to do it is suggesting you think it might not work, but it's very feasible that this way can work. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, the key word is adaptation. You have to be open to adaptation. You know what I mean? And if you're not open to adaptation, you're going to be staying stuck in a rut.
Oh, no, you're going to be stagnant.
Exactly.
And he's right, people. Guys, you got to, in other words, he said, be a grown-up. You have to adult yourself in order to understand growth. Like, you know what I mean? These are the little things that are going to allow you to grow, and not only grow, but be able to connect with people on different pages. All right? Keep going. All right. Let me ask you this. What can I learn from you and vice versa that you feel important to share, you know what I mean? Like, what do you think of, like, what are your, like, your strong suits that you...
It's funny, because I was going to answer before you said the strong suits, and I was going to say, really, we all have superhuman traits.
We do.
Superpowers is what I call them.
We do.
You know, I think one of my superpowers is humbleness, integrity, discipline. You know,
what you on that?
It's something that you're not going to necessarily, I can't really teach you. You have to observe and see that it's in me. You see what I'm saying? And then once you see that, then you learn in essence. You know what I mean? And you can follow suit. It's like, man, I want to be a type of individual like that. I want to stand on these principles, you know? And I hope to learn the same thing from you. You see what I'm saying? Anytime I get around a group of peers or whatever, I want it to be a certain caliber of men. You know what I mean? I want to have to watch my wallet or think this or think that, you know? So.
Yeah, because you know the old saying, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Type thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I do like that because I'm the same way when it comes down to it. Where I think my thing is now patience. Patience. And I was a running back, people. We're impatient as hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't let blocks form. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll be like, you know, yo, let your blocks lead you to the freedom land and all. And I'm just like, yo, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what you seen over there, bro. It wasn't there when I was there, bro. So as a running back, I'm so impatient because I'm like, yo, nothing is forming. I have to figure something else out.
And our coaches, they taught us back in the day, don't tiptoe through the tulips.
Correct.
Explode.
Exactly.
So it's like we didn't know any other form. We didn't know any other pace. But actually, going slow is a winning too. I learned that.
Patience.
I was doing a little transportation, and I kept leaving Newton, and I'm like, yo, which way is the GPS going to take me? So it was the short way or the long way. The short way was through Boston, so I'm like, yo, I'm about to go the short way. I'm about to get there fast. Every single time, it took me longer. So going the long way sometimes is actually the short way.
You gotta learn. It might be the most efficient way.
Exactly. That's powerful.
You dropping gems here, people. I hope you're writing this down.
Free game.
Yo, this good game. It's free, right?
Yeah, it's free.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Are there times when you feel, as a person, mentor, coach, father, husband, you should listen more and guide less?
Oh yeah, definitely. And that could be one of my downfalls. I could definitely see that, because sometimes it's like I wake up with a set pattern. My kids got to do this and they got to do that, and I'm not really listening to them. And in certain aspects, when it revolves around the regimen of things.
Okay.
But sometimes it's like I criticize myself all the time, and I'm like, yo, sometimes I need to sit back and really listen to these kids.
Listen
Focus,
to their heart. Analyze.
You see what I'm saying?
Correct,
Because
correct.
I really do believe this. Everybody's right in their own perspective.
Everybody.
It's just I don't see their perspective. I see maybe 3 perspectives before them. You see what I'm saying? With kids are limited because we've been there, done that. So at the same time, they're not wrong.
Correct.
And they got to try and learn things from themselves too. So, and I'm not patient enough sometimes to let them go through that. But sometimes I need to listen and let them go through that, because instead of being that,
all right,
and
it is what it is, because you know why we're always so on go, where it's just like, I understand that you as a father, you're on go, so it's just like, you got the 2-year-old, you got the next one, and then you're like, okay, let me hear you out, like, you know what I mean, and like you said, there's that perspective, but there's perspective and there's perception, you know what I mean, and everybody has their own perspective. And like you said, it doesn't mean that you're wrong, but it's just about understanding and viewing it from that person's lens.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because everyone, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where it's just like you said, like, yo, it's tough for you, but it's that patience that you take your time and be like, all right, cool. Let me understand where you're coming from.
So I got a prime example.
Uh-oh,
like my
go ahead,
12-year-old, I live by this.
Okay.
No last minute planning.
Okay. I'm with you now.
But I always shoot him down, and then sometimes I was thinking sometimes I just need to relax and say, all right, Joshua, you can go with your friend. He said, even though it wasn't planned, But I'm always like, nah. It's last minute. You didn't tell me a week ago? Nah. But sometimes that's what I mean by sometimes I gotta chill out and be like, I'm gonna let this one slide.
Correct.
Because you can't every rule can't be set in stone, because there's gray days and light days and dark days and
and it's tough.
Different environments, different situations,
And it's tough as a parent, you know what I mean? Because we got to think back when we was kids. Yeah. If we was set in stone on that all the time, guess what we gonna do? Yeah. We're gonna break some rules.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We gonna do that, bro.
Like go left, and we gonna go right a few times,
And that's what I'm saying, though. So it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of people they don't take that into consideration. They don't take that in consideration where, like you said, like, yo, you're being more lenient on the whole, you know what? Josh, go out with your friends. You're good. Y'all going to the movies? Just let me know what time you're coming back.
And he's a good kid. So.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I feel like sometimes we gotta understand that people, like, you know what I mean? Even for your significant other, manager, supervisor, you know what I mean? And this is all looking on in. Like, so say for instance, if you're a manager and you have a good employee and that does good all the time, and he says, yo, listen, I really need to get out of here. Can I get out? You know what? Get up on out of here, bro. You always did me a solid. Get up out of here.
That's real. That's love, man.
And that's what I'm saying. And you got to return it. You're right. So, like, what do you think is probably the most toughest thing when it comes down to, like, you know, obviously you parenting and you communicating with them on good and bad?
Man, that's sometimes you kind of walk in fear, but me personally, I kind of like not to expose my kids to things of a fearful nature, because I don't want them to have that in their heart. But as far as good and bad, like, I take it when it comes. I'm like, oh, this happened at school. The principal called me. Now let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Do you think this was right? why did this happen? And then I'm gonna base off my judgment off of what he says. You see what I'm saying? Or what they say. And but as far as general principles, like they pretty much know, don't run in the street. If you're walking your sister to school, like she needs to be holding her hand. There's no exception. Like if something happens to her, it happens to you. So in a certain way, there's no, they understand the good and bad of certain things, but deeper things I kind of keep under the rug because they don't need to be exposed to that. The older ones, 15 to 16, they kind of know
they kind of know they know what's good and bad.
But if you're under like 10, you don't need to know anything. It's just Chuck E. Cheese and Santa.
Don't worry
That's
about
it.
that, sweetheart. Don't worry about that.
Exactly. What you got on? You got
don't worry about.
At,
I got that splat. That splat.
That's real. That's real.
No, but that's dope. That's dope. Because it's like coming back to it. Like you start to remember your childhood, and it's one of those things where it's just like, wow, like, and shit. I grew up in the hood, people. So you know what I mean? It's a different mindset where I was forced to be street smart. I was forced. I had to, it was a class that was never graded and never taught by and never taught by anybody.
You better get it right.
And you had to. You had no choice. Yo, this is real. And that's real talk. Like you were forced to be you either have it or you don't have it. But like when you in the hood, like it's like you almost have to have it.
And my kids live in Everett, but that's what scares me sometimes because I know they don't have that street smart. That's one thing that I'm like, the good and bad. It's like, Joshua, you can't be in the streets. I went and played basketball with my 12-year-old, and like he threw the ball at me, hit me. I said, Joshua, you can't just do this at the park, and you're gonna come back. And I'm already worried about him. I'm like, what they gonna do to him at the park?
See,
you're not gonna make it home. And I'm like, he's a good kid. He just doesn't know, but certain things don't go. You can do that at recess, but you go to a park in Boston, it's not flying. You're not leaving that park like that.
You go to you know what I mean? There's so many different areas where you're just automatically thinking, you're like, oh man, this is gonna go left.
Man.
It's gonna go left.
Because those kids don't play.
And that's the thing though. And it's one of those things where like we keep saying, we wasn't taught that. We just was around it and we had to adapt to our surroundings.
Exactly.
And that's the whole mentoring, like, and guys, and we've been talking about this whole mentoring and teaching, and one of these things is like what we're trying to educate to everybody else is that there's still a chance. You can still change the tide of wherever your perspective is, your perception on relationship wise, work, parenting. There's still hope.
Yeah, there's still hope. I mean, you got to be adaptable. We talked about that. You got to look in the lens of other people. And that's what a lot of people don't do is try to see how they're seeing. I never had road rage. People always have road rage, but it's like, man, you don't know. You might be having a bad day.
Man, let you be in front of me. You throw your hazards on. I'm like, beep. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny.
You know what? Since listen, we're like a week away from Christmas and all this extra stuff. Let me ask you something. Like, do you have any holiday gift ideas? And I'm gonna go through a list, people. Man. So we're trying to help you out in the long run. Okay, listen. Okay, let's say for fitness enthusiasts, because you kind of you seem like you in the gym all the time. Pause. Like what would you recommend as a gift? Like so
if you're a female to your significant other, get them some protein,
protein,
new set of gloves. He's gonna be happy.
Okay.
Maybe
resistant band set.
Exactly. Something that he can utilize on the daily. Like you can't go wrong. You won't miss a beat.
Weighted jump rope.
Oh yeah, because the jump ropes wear out.
You're right.
I wear mine one day, and I'm like looking at it. It's about to be gone in 10 days.
And if you got the bread like a smart fitness tracker, something like that.
That's true.
Okay. How about for travelers?
For travelers, a couple hats, a suitcase, depending on where they want to go.
Okay.
Bikini, a swimsuit.
Okay.
Definitely. Well, you don't really need a camera nowadays. iPhone.
You're right.
But I was gonna say, sometimes just those little old school cameras that mean
I
a
ain't gonna
lot.
lie. I ain't gonna lie. Those Polaroids hit.
They mean a lot more sometimes than just having the pictures on the phone.
I would do like a portable travel charger,
Yeah.
power bank, packing cubes, maybe some scratch off world map, make it a little interesting or whatever. You know what? This one's gonna be good for you. For kids.
Oh,
Okay, all right, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, this is easy.
just in general.
In general.
You know, Nintendo Switch. You know, the kids are always raving about that. New controllers. Definitely got to get them the new controllers for whatever system they have because these kids play hockey with these things.
Yeah, no BS.
I'm telling you, I'm like,
no BS, no
how many
BS.
times you gonna drop it?
Yeah, no BS.
But anyway, besides that, you definitely got to get them a couple new fits. You know, send them to school
Always.
January fresh. They don't like, bullies be looking at them and stuff.
Y'all
got the same stuff on from last year.
I like that. Budget friendly. So like people that you ain't got enough, you ain't got deep pockets.
Man.
I'm thinking about a mini portable phone stand, fun socks, people, some holiday patterns, a mini skincare makeup kit. He said, yeah.
I was, you said budget friendly. I waved my hand. I found out what Temu was just last month. So I bought almost all my stuff off Christmas from Temu. So, that was everything was coming in. I was like,
hopefully
okay.
Temu plugs us.
Man, it's for real. Let's get a contract.
And the last one for foodies, for people that like to make food and all that extra stuff.
And eat healthy.
Yeah, air fryer. I love air fryer. I'm big on air fryers, man. Listen, if you single and you or if you're a parent or you got a family, them air fryers come in clutch because you could be doing other things while that stuff is going on and all that extra stuff. Now I know they are killing. Espresso machine, maybe a French press. I don't know if you got the pockets for it. Before we get out of here, do you have any positive or negative feedback?
Positive.
Go ahead, sir.
Just in the whole mental health and wellness thing.
Yeah.
You just have to, I grew up and a symbol to me was always powerful, the yin yang symbol, and I never knew why. But as I've gotten older, I always say, man, you kind of do need a balance of everything. You can't have too much of the right. You can't have too much of the left. You need a balance of everything. Nutrition's got to be balanced. Your dieting, your sleep has got to be balanced. Your training. Conditioning, your relationships have to be balanced. Everything has to be balanced if you really want to have substance and fruitful relationships, not only at home but at work, everywhere. So that's really, you need to hit the buzzer for that one, because it's like, man, if you wanna win and tap in, like, you wonder why you get those stressed out days, is because your balance is off. It's just like life, man. Your pH off, you're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah, you are. You're gonna have a bad day.
Yeah.
Now I'm with you on that one. You know me, guys. I'm always I either got to be toxic or positive. Since he was positive, I got to be toxic. Little bit of words of wisdom, guys, before we get out of here. If you're not doing better than the person you're talking about, move. Dead ass, like move. More of the story, people. Stop demanding shit that you can't bring to the table. Real talk. Guys, man, I want to welcome and I want to thank Bryd for coming on to the show.
Yes, sir.
Bryd, how can they reach you?
Man, Lift 'em Up Sports. That's a little youth sports program we run on IG.
Okay. I'm gonna put it at the bottom.
Or my email, Claude B at liftemupsports with the Z.com.
Okay.
So,
that's it.
That's pretty much it.
You dig?
I'll be seeing you.
Listen, man, but till next time, man, happy holidays. Be safe out there, man. Salutations. Cheers.